Hello, and welcome to another episode of Dave Trip. And I got a great comment down below on one of my recent videos, and I thought it was a statement / question worth discussing. And it was, do you think that coming to Japan is a downgrade? Lower income, smaller car, smaller living space, this, that, and the other thing coming over. And I wanted to address it because there's a couple of different ways that you could come at this from. A couple of interesting ways. So first off, when you talk about this, we're going to quantify those monetary things you talked about, like a car, like space, like the amount of money that you're making in a year. So let's talk about that first. The majority of people coming over to do this job, the majority, are people who are fresh out of university, have not worked that much in their lives before, have not accumulated that many monetary or material items. So if they come over to Japan to do this and they're doing it fresh out of college or university, I don't think it's a downgrade whatsoever for those kinds of people. They're coming over. They may not have ever had a car before. Those people exist. They may not have worked a job that nets them over $30,000 a year before. Some dispatch companies, you're earning a little bit less. Let's say, okay, they've not earned before around like $25,000 a year. They've done only summer jobs and that only gets them so much money. So for those people, the answer is definitive and simple. It's that when they come over, they are not doing a downgrade. Then you move into somebody like me, somebody who had a little bit more time and was working and had a few more material possessions, but came over anyways. And for me, even where I was, I admit it freely, transparently, that I was, even coming over initially, making more money than where I had found myself. The highest paying job that I had was working for a, wireless company. It was Rogers in Canada, and I was sickened by the way that they prey on people. That whole industry is incredibly corrupt, which put a knife through my soul the longer that I was doing it. And so in that way, I was willing to take a reduction in the amount that I was being paid to come over here. So yes, there was that kind of downgrade that you're seeing in the sense that, yeah, I'm making monetarily less, but my quality of life improved because I was going on an adventure. I was able to learn a new language. I won't kill you with a list right now, but you can see for these people kind of in the middle, there's a distinct quality of life thing that's working out for them. And now I would tell this story of another couple people I know. People this would be an extreme example of what I've just said about myself, basically, is that I know people who've come over here who had steady jobs making one guy well over 50,000 American a year, like well over. Another guy who was making probably somewhere near that, relatively speaking, I think. And if you don't see making 50,000 American a year as having at least reached a sort of lower middle class, upper middle class livelihood, then you're crazy. You're crazy. But that'll probably connect well to the point that I make at the end of this. These people came over for the reason that I kind of found myself in the middle of. I was making a little bit more money, but I had a lot less space to live in. But I felt generally that my quality of life had increased. And so in no way was it seen as a downgrade, although objectively some people could look at some of the things as having been downgraded. But then you get these other people who are coming over, and yes, by the sort of material gains that you would have in life, they were taking a huge downgrade, but they saw fit for different reasons to come on this adventure. I think more than anything else that you get from coming over to Japan, you will always get, is this sense of adventure, where life has grown a little old or stale wherever it is that you are. When you wake up each morning expecting the same thing that you've done for the last 5 years, to come over and immerse yourself in something that's completely the opposite of whatever cultural experience you've had is a great way to wake up in life. It's a great way for neurogenesis. It's a great way to really realize that life is as exciting as you are willing to make it. And to be fair as well, these people have often saved a great deal of money before coming over, so they're even like more content when they come over to do it. Ultimately, what I'm talking about here is if you were talking about downgrading, if you were talking about gains, net gain versus net loss, something like that, everything is going to depend on what is it you are measuring your experience by. This is how I mean, I have to understand people who, I had worked at my previous job, excuse me, and I made in my previous job with no, mind you, with no health insurance help, with nothing paying into pension here, which you can reclaim when you leave, I was making 240,000 yen a month, which was fine to initially have come over, arrived, and been making that kind of money. And it was a little bump up from the crappy job I'd found myself in between back home. But I'd spoken to people who have spent 10 years here and never moved out of that job. And that, for me, is a sort of like financial suicide. Like, I'd rather put a gun in my mouth than work 10 years at a job that was paying you, I'll even say it, that little. But the point of this whole video, I suppose I should say, is that who am I to judge if they're truly happy doing that? I'll draw another line in the sand as well. I didn't mind people I met who were doing that, who had done it for 10 years, and I'd ask them, I was like, how's your life? Are you enjoying it? And they say, I absolutely love it. I've got a wife here now. I've got a few kids. They're going to school. They're happy. I'm happy. Everything is good. Life has its ups and downs, but I'm good. I like this. Those people I would never judge, because it's none of my business to speak about what should bring someone happiness. There's too many other things to actually have matter and be mad about in this world than to be mad at this person who's found peace with far less than I have. That's an amazing accomplishment in some ways. But then I would run into people who would have done that for 10 years, but then complain about it, where I was like, then those people I have absolutely no sympathy for. That if something is not working out in your life, then there's no point in complaining for 10 years. You should change it. So when you measure your life, are you resting on your laurels in a way that when you look at it, you're like, oh, I've got far less here. But is that because you've allowed yourself to have far less? Because you wanted more money, but you didn't try and get a better job while you were here? Did you come over here and expect only a cultural experience and then realize that the money wasn't enough for you and decide that, actually, I don't care that the money's not enough, I just want the cultural experience? Peace is where you put it. Peace is the end result of you deciding what it is that's important for you. And if you haven't found peace, you will always find yourself in a net loss. If you found peace with what it is that you want, what you truly want, then you'll always be moving in the right direction, because be it that you're searching for a better job, which you have every opportunity to do while you're here, be it that you're content with the one that you have, it'll work out. The thing to avoid finding yourself in this state of loss is to ask the question, am I pursuing what I am most interested in? And then realize that, of course, yeah, blah, 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 that's different for every single person that we know in this life. But whether we're pursuing it or not is universal. That's the question. It's not so much the specific thing, but the spirit behind what it is that we're doing. And I think that best summarizes my answer to that question. The people that find themselves in a net gain or net loss in Japan, the people that find that they've given up so much to be here, I think they'd probably have that perspective wherever they were. These people are probably not going to be happy because they're probably not going to do something to change their situation. Yeah, that's it. I hope you found this conversation interesting. If you have any questions or sort of philosophical prompts that you want to put into the comments down below, please do. Get a hold of me in my email, get a hold of me in the comments. Like the channel, like the movie, subscribe to the channel, help me out. You're awesome. I appreciate all of you. And I will catch you in the next video. Ciao for now. Peace.